Chapter 7 Worldly Life and Tao. Footnote: Worldly life, concerning human passions by average people, or the worldly living way lacking refinement. End of footnote. Worldly life and Tao are two completely different ways of living. It is difficult to distinguish between them. Man lives and contacts among themselves by the state of their heart and their mind. He lives in social life, called the worldly life. But if he lives and connects with the heaven, the earth, and himself, he conducts a holy cosmic life, called Tao. So it can be said that living with the cosmos, the heaven, the earth, and himself, is to live Tao. But living with human race only is to live the worldly life. In the worldly life, the body, the heart, and the mind develop. In Tao, the natural, supernatural, supernatural characters, the mind, supermind, and supermind, and other miraculous, invisible organs evolve. Social life. External sceneries are led into the heart and the mind, from which feelings originate. Tao's life, external and internal sceneries are conducted into the character and the mind, from which knowledge, comprehension, experience, and intelligence are produced. All these are pure, without heart state. Worldly life. Ego. With mankind, individuals differ from each other by their individual ego, or the self. The ego is the self in each individual. Footnote: the self, a conscious thinking subject that reacts to reality and proclaims oneself to have a sense of individuality or particular quality. End of footnote. Despite being in the same race of mankind, people differ greatly in terms of ego. From a visible and apparent person, another invisible one originates, that is, the individual ego. One's ego is a second person in one's life. It is created by sensations, body, by the heart and the mind, or by the character and the supermind. It gets a distinct life. Man fosters its growth and gives it the particularity of sensations, specific feelings, and thoughts, or give his ego a special capability and distinctive use of the functions of the minds, such as remembering, thinking, and intelligence. The ego creates for itself a social position and status. It proclaims to be superior by adorning, embellishing, decorating with good virtues, and hiding or concealing the ill intention, wickedness, and evilness. The ego, or a supervisible and invisible person, animates with the supernatural and supernatural powers of the heart, the mind, or of the character and the supermind. Therefore, that person continues to exist after the disintegration of the flesh body. To supermen, Tao's men, Buddhas, saints, their virtues, Tao's characters of the heart, the mind, the character, the supermind, the supermind remain after the flesh body has disintegrated. In other words, their heart, mind, character, and supermind still persist. Like the cases of famous people, their inventions and works from their heart and mind, not from their flesh body, are handed down to posterity. Each ego, supervisible or invisible person, is related to each cosmic world, i.e., each small world in man connects to the same kind of cosmic world. The ego is constituted by the body, the heart, the mind, or the heart and the mind, or the character and the mind, or the character, the mind, the supermind, or the supermind. If being constituted by the body, the heart, and the mind, the ego animates and connects with the natural world around the earth. Being constituted by the heart and the mind, it animates and connects with the natural world around and inside the earth. Being constituted by the conscience and the mind, it gets vitalized by virtues, becomes genuine, and is called genuine ego, which can connect with the supernatural world and the supernatural world. Being formed by the character and the mind, it animates and connects with the natural world of and inside the earth and the supernatural world outside the atmosphere, i.e., related to two cosmic worlds. Being constituted by the character, the mind, and the supermind, it animates and connects with the three worlds, i.e., the whole cosmos. By looking at an object, it is hard to identify its substance, character, or character's energy. It is even harder to discover the ego, the second person, of other people. If we cannot discover the ego of others, we are unable to contact them or endure them patiently and guide their second person. If we want to know the ego of others, social men, small men, wicked men, evil men, great men, or wise men, first of all, we have to know thoroughly our own ego, to which kind it belongs to, the vulgar world, the supernature, or the cosmos. The ego of vulgar society involves the body, sensations, the heart, feelings, love related to one's own interests, and the mind, thoughts belonging to and for oneself. It involves fluctuation and confusion. The supernatural ego involves peace and joy. It is related to bodily abnegation, giving up one's own body's needs, the heart, sympathy, love or pity for others, and the mind, thoughts, inventions for common interests. The cosmic ego involves utmost peace, utmost joy, and is related to total abnegation, and the character, the mind, the supermind, the supermind, all that is one. Existence and non-existence are considered as the same value, worth and meaning, or without possession. Possession is like without possession. Existence is like non-existence. Therefore, the cosmic ego in man's life is considered as without ego. Substance of without ego is without origin. Is the substance essence, without material birth. For that reason, the second person persists. The deed by egolessness is without deed or deedless. Although the deed is performed, it is considered as without purpose or process of performing. 1. The ego constituted by the body, the heart, the mind. A. This ego can be made of pure sensations, usual habitude of sensations, or an intense desire for sensations. Usual habitude. The preference or an intense desire for a certain sensation which is related to space and time. This is caused by the recall of the sensation and makes the mind grow into an experienced habit. As such, the usual habitude is a memory leading mental activity to the past. Also, from the preferable sensations, the usual habitude conducts the mind towards the future. It is also the fluctuations of the heart and the mind in terms of some preference or desire for a certain sensation, swaying rapidly from the past to the future, and detaching the heart and the mind from the reality. The usual habitude tends to two results: sound and unsound natures towards the material life, the sentimental, moral, intellectual life, or the spiritual life. Even if it tends to a sound effect, it still separates the heart and the mind from the reality, which disperses the connection between the life, the heart and the mind, and the life's powers, the body. The usual habitude of sensations belongs to the body. The life, the heart, the mind, is attached to the body or to the activities on the earth. This is an obstacle to the evolved willpower, which directs one's efforts to exceed the limits of the earth. That means the life, heart, and mind separates from the body to become free from entanglements and social intricate confusion belonging to the earth, on which there is the usual habitude and the tangles of the body to the heart and the mind. If the heart and the mind, the life, detach from the body, the life's powers, while the activities of the body are still animating involuntarily, this means the life is connecting with the supernatural world and the supernatural world while still animating in the life's powers. B. The intense desire, an eager covet of a preferable and desirable sensation that is caused by usual habitude and recalled by the remembering mind. It is the entanglement of the heart and the mind, the life, in a preferable sensation or in the body, life's powers. This kind of intense desire gets material nature. Other intense desires belong to the moral, sentimental, intellectual field, such as aspiration to achieve a scientific invention or to create a new technology, art, culture, etc. This strong desire is useful for the mind by developing the capability of the functions of the mind, observing, remembering, thinking, and intelligence, and they all get evolved. But in any sphere of activity, the intense desire constitutes an ego as well, concrete in the body, abstract in the heart and the mind. Once the desire or aspiration has become a component of ego, the ego is hard to join the cosmic nature. C. Pure sensations. When the heart and the mind examine sensations through physical contact in reality and do not let the sensation, desirable or undesirable, become a memory, a remembered sensation, a usual habitude, or a strong desire, then the pure sensation develops the level of intelligence through perception without becoming a constituent of ego. 2. The ego constituted by the heart and the mind. Being formed by feelings and thoughts, this ego is shaped by the environments, of which the two most important are the family and the society. The individual's activities in the two environments are feelings and thoughts. Depending upon circumstances and surrounding influences, some certain feelings and thoughts appear more often and thus form impressions which, added with psychological effect, become specific characteristics of a kind of feeling. Since then, an ego is created. For example, a person is displeased and irritated about his job. The irritation and anger become the characteristics of that kind of feelings. Gradually, it forms the basis of ego. Resented with anger, he arouses and projects his dislike against people nearby and occasionally with himself. The state of the heart and the thoughts by people change continuously and differ from each other. Therefore, The individual ego that is formed by the heart and the mind gets to be extremely distinct. Moreover, each person has his own cultural background, level of refinement of intellectual tastes, knowledge, experiences, social class, and position, etc. All of these social, physiological, psychological, and sentimental, moral, or intellectual aspects contribute to the varieties of ego. Having distinct egos, people in social groups are hard to agree among themselves or to get along, even within their family. A lot of members always live at home since their childhood, hardly contact with the social life, and thus their individual ego is formed by feelings within their household. The specific characteristics of one type of feeling or two in family activities establish the basis of ego, and this ego sets off with its specific characteristics. One of many root causes of opposition and disagreement in family comes from the different feelings and thoughts by each individual. These lead family members to different opinions. 3. The ego constituted by the character and the mind. At the disappearance of the ego constituted by society and family, only the ego of one's own life remains. When the ego of society and family stops being, the ego of one's own life, or the genuine ego, comes into existence. This ego is formed by genuine feelings, the feelings of mankind that animate in oneself. Also, the thoughts in one's mind are the common thoughts by mankind. All of these feelings, virtues, and thoughts originate from the character and the mind. The living way in family and society will not be lost, for the genuine ego of individual is also the ego of mankind. For this reason, there is no more opposition, disagreement, or conflicts between a genuine ego and a family's ego. The genuine ego animates very actively. The animation of mankind's feelings energizes in an individual life. Its animation power is mightier than that of a feeling that gets specific characteristics of each individual. The manner of expressing the feeling of a genuine ego is not the expression of an individual to another or others, but it is mankind's feeling in a person to another or others. 4. The ego constituted by the character, the mind, the supermind, and the super-supermind. The character, the mind, the supermind, the super-supermind animating in man are of the same substance, character, and character's energy of the cosmos. The cosmic ego exists in man, but it seems not to, so it can be called without ego. In brief, in daily life, man's activities change infinitely and so rapidly that we cannot identify which ego, which heart, or which character that our activities are animating with. Even though the changes of activities are countless, in terms of physics, they all belong to only 4 sacred substances that originate in man, and the flesh body witnesses, experiences, and feels all that are taking place among many kinds of ego. The opposition in life. Feelings are engendered by the external essence, which is formed by the external world. They get a natural nature. Character is produced by the supernatural essence, which is constituted from the inside. It is in possession of the supernature. The further the living way tends to the external world, i.e., the more enlarged it is, the more different opinions and oppositions it gets. Adults who live with their distinct feelings are difficult to agree with each other. The material civilization produces many things for man. Thus, man is preoccupied with material things only, takes pleasure in sensations and feelings, and devotes himself excessively to worldly and material concerns. It sets people further distant from each other. In a big city, though residing in a close area, people are separated by their different living ways. Areas are crowded with people, but man becomes more and more isolated and lonely. Conversely, if the living way tends towards the inside, man lives in a close relationship like children who live their life in a spontaneous manner. Their mutual relationship has no great difference, almost no opposition. Therefore, they play and enjoy in harmony. Wills of one individual originate from countless sensations, feelings, and thoughts. How can we know to what extent the wills of the whole mankind get to? None can satisfy or yield to all those wishes. For that reason, there are oppositions. Oppositions include three kinds: opposition between each other, opposition between oneself and others, and opposition within oneself, between the heart and the mind of oneself. The first two kinds are caused by deeds, external and internal facts, which result in differences in feelings and thoughts. Externally, fames, benefits, talents, beauties create oppositions. Internally, individual feelings and thoughts engender oppositions too. Both external and internal sceneries make activities of each individual opposite and lead them to be antagonists. This opposition takes the truth away from one's way of living. When man does not willingly accept truth, how can he be improved? But if everyone lives with the genuine truth, there will be no more opposition, disagreement, or antagonism. How can we expunge the oppositions? One has to know his heart thoroughly first, then correct himself in order to improve. First and foremost, one must ameliorate himself by self-correction without reprimanding and correcting others. If everyone is determined to rectify oneself first, then nobody rebukes, blames, or criticizes others. There will be no opposition and contradiction. To the one who corrects himself, his heart and mind will evolve and become perspicacious, clear-sighted, and acute in understanding and judgment. Why? Because when he has a thorough knowledge about opposition between each other, or between himself and other, his mind is clever, witty, and genuine. Moreover, if one knows thoroughly the state of his own heart, his mind is even more clever and clear-sighted. Oppositions between each other or between oneself and others result from different opinions about equity. In correcting this, the use of logical cause and justice is necessary. But regarding the opposition between the heart and the mind, only the genuine truth or the genuine cause can correct effectively. Using the genuine cause to make oneself right, the person will become righteous. From being full of oppositions and contradiction, he has now become just and morally right. This is an evolution. At this level of evolution, the heart and the mind of the righteous man unite with each other. Thus, his words and deeds are the same as well. The corresponding and related state of a same kind of echo. Oppositions in individual life make human beings' life separate. Oppositions in individual life make human beings live separately in a community even in a family. But the corresponding and related state of a same kind of ego creates many relationships that connect people. Sometimes they endure the different unfortunate or tragic fate, or they enjoy a good opportunity, good luck, and happiness. These relations are meeting unexpectedly and being in connection. This originates a relation. Meeting unexpectedly but lack of connection, there is no relation. That means meeting together, interconnecting. This produces a mutual relationship. Meeting together but having no connection, no relationship becomes evident. If two people live with misfortunes, surely when they meet each other, they easily connect with each other in their activities. If living with misfortunes and fortunes, though two people may meet each other, they are difficult to connect and correspond to each other. So it suffices to say that misfortunes and misfortunes connect and correspond. Fortune and fortune connect and correspond. Virtue and virtue connect and correspond. Tao and Tao connect and correspond. Fortune and misfortune, no connection, no relationship. Tao, virtue, no connection, no relationship. Heart, character, no connection, no relationship. Heart and heart connect and correspond. Character and character connect and correspond. Typical men are the essential characteristics of a group of people. From sensual pleasures of the flesh body, hopes, aspirations, ambitions, or thoughts, distinct character and personality are formed. It engenders different states of the heart and fashions a variety of typical men in mankind. Thus, it suffices to say that character and heart frame dissimilar typical men, such as wicked, evil, cruel, meek, mild-mannered, altruistic, righteous, virtuous, sainted persons, etc. In each typical group, there are many degrees and states, because in the group of wicked men, there may be a morally bad one, a very harmful one, or the one that is both wicked and evil, or both cruel and evil. Below are some distinctive qualities of an individual. Wickedness originates from the mind, from poisonous thoughts, or ill will. It is the bad nature that causes mental or bodily sufferings to other people and animals, or makes the heart and the mind of others suffer pain or hardship, leading people or animals to immediate or gradual death. Evilness and cruelty comes from the heart, which causes pain and suffering to the body, or brings about the death to the flesh body of others. Wild, cruel animals with clutches and claws, such as tigers, lions, leopards, cats, when grabbing a prey, usually treat them cruelly to death before devouring it. In daily activities, thoughts and ideas occur unceasingly, thus the state of the heart changes rapidly and correspondingly. Sometimes it seems to be devil and bestial. Occasionally it is humane, superbly humane, or godly. Wicked and evil is our demoniac character. Being fierce and cruel are animals' natural attitude or characteristic. Being meek and benevolent are human nature, a model of perfection for average people to follow, but not yet obtain enough transcendent qualities to lead society on the way of progress and improvement. Being righteous is human nature, worthy of imitation, a model that others want to follow and practice. Virtuous is morally good, chaste thoughts, modest and decent behavior, an example for a moral and intellectual life. And Tao, godly and holy nature, an example in moral and spiritual life. Excluding demoniac character and animals' nature, in society, normally men's ways of living are classified into three ranks: little men, great men, and holy men. Other kinds of supermen who abandon social life without intent to connect to social life are not mentioned here. Little men, or inconsiderable men, not necessarily a wicked, evil, cruel, or fierce person, but little man pays attention only to himself, admires and respects himself without attaching importance to others. He notices and takes heed to himself, tells about himself only, pours out his heart, unloads confidence, and likes judging and criticizing others. This rank of man listens and sees everything with the vulgar heart, therefore they are selfish. A selfish man behaves with emotional reactions such as anger, trouble, annoyance, vexation, haste, worry, fear, joy, gaiety, always turns to benefits for himself and takes advantage of others. He blames and lays the entire fault on others and always claims rightly doing. Taking care of only oneself without regard for others, selfish man often makes mistakes and solves problems contrarily to logic. His activities of life occur mainly in the flesh body. He lives with sensual pleasures and likes to know future fortunes and misfortunes. Taking heed to himself, he loses reliance on others. It leads to lack of loyalty, fidelity, allegiance, then without self-respect. Lacking these necessary qualities, reliance, loyalty, self-respect, there are no perseverance, constancy, and patience. Without self-respect, the little man takes advantage of opportunities, of fame's benefits, talents, beauties, to establish his influence and power. Therefore, he only serves people for benefits and keeps away from people who have lost their influence and power, or even worse, he maltreats others. Following fame's benefits, opportunities, this tendency leads him astray. This kind of people desires only to get help, aid, support. After that, he betrays. Great man, the one who can see thoroughly himself and others. He takes care of not only himself but others also. He pays attention to all others and to himself. His deeds are right, good, and just. He listens to and examines facts by the mind in order to find out their root cause. The great man is just and altruistic and always judges himself, therefore he becomes righteous. He performs actions and executes things in accordance with the cause, reason, and the mind. Thus, all his deeds are logical. Dealing with everything with the genuine heart engenders genuine feelings. Since genuine feelings exist in circumstances, in all deeds, amiable relations are formed, and others become more friendly and closer. The great man lives with genuine feelings and virtues, thus he feels peaceful and enjoyable. This kind of person absolutely respects confidence, which leads him to be loyal. The loyalty tends to be self-respect and self-assurance. Thus, the heart becomes steadfast, determined, and faithful. By himself, he gains wealth and fame with magnanimous and generous heart and good behavior. He treats others with favor and easily forgives, supports voluntarily disadvantaged and deprived people. He does not flatter or praise insincerely authoritative persons. To great men, properties and profession are acquired by genuine virtues, which become the means to express his personality and improve the genuine virtues, of which the most essential is love. Footnote: in this meaning, love is considered as a sound virtue of the moral and spiritual life. This genuine virtue belongs to mankind's love, which surpasses individual love. End of footnote. The profession that is gained with human virtues is the means to engender fortunes, i.e., to produce wealth and fame. The one who uses this way is only a talented man, not a great man. Holy man. Holy man is the one who only pays attention to others without taking care for himself anymore. Taking heed for others, he takes care of others and teaches them. Only heeding others without seeing himself, consequently his life animates in only the mind. The activities of his mind are related only to the cause and the reason, and he prefers to search for and find out Tao's cause. Operating with the cause and the mind, he enjoys the utmost spiritual happiness, for the cause has no connection with the flesh body and the heart. Therefore, he does not see himself anymore. The holy man perceives facts and deeds through his character and mind. Consequently, he can know their cause and perceive directly the state of the heart of others. Behaving with pity, his treatments surpass equality and the logical cause. Thus, the holy man is competent to convert and progress others in good way. No longer seeing himself, his mind gets into the cause, the cosmic cause of the natural world. In his activities, the mind and the cause become the creation and invention, issuing innate talents and geniuses. If the mind still uses the principles, it remains in the sphere of imitation, meaning the person is just talented. When the mind gets into the cause, the ego no longer exists. Therefore, the holy man does not observe himself anymore. There are three kinds of people with three different ways of living and different manners of perceiving things and matters. Their love also tends to direct different behaviors and courses of action. The little man is troublesome, officiously intrusive, and unnecessarily interferes into others' affairs, makes wrong judgments, and believes that anything different from his thoughts is wrong or incorrect. He considers ideas that are not similar to his own to be wrong. Words unlike his also a mistake. A placement not properly identical to his not correct. Love gets many tendencies in terms of one's thinking, performing, and behaving. Mercies, or the compassionate treatment to others, make mankind to be kind and forgiving, generous and willing to give whatever one gets. This virtue engenders numberless other virtues and deeds of fortunes and virtues. On the contrary, little man loves himself, likes to collect benefits, wants others to supply what he needs, but he is ungrateful. He feels unpleasant when he is obliged to aid someone, so he dislikes the activities and gradually becomes indolent. Giving or sharing reluctantly, he is stingy. He is hard to give, but often accuses others. Loving oneself, the little man is jealous, hateful, and suspicious of rivals. Therefore, he inflicts troubles and damage onto others. To realize these inflictions, his mind makes plots. Animating with wicked thoughts and evil ideas, the heart and the mind of the little man make his life unhappy and troublesome. The heart and the mind filled with wickedness, evilness, and cruelty are the source of disasters and misfortunes. Misfortunes already exist in the flesh body, therefore they will manifest when favorable conditions come. Fortunes come to compassionate men, misfortunes to heartless one. In brief, loving others, it is clemency and kind-heartedness. Loving oneself, it is heartlessness, indifference. The way of living of the little man differs extremely from those of the great man and the holy man. The little man is characterized by evasiveness, thus his words are not obvious, his activities are not right in time, his deeds are not precise and accurate. If his heart gets wicked and cruel, his words are insolent and impertinent, his actions are rude, and his deeds are perilous. The little man lives without sincerity. First, he disavows and denies responsibility and truth. The duration of untruth leads him to tell lies or convey a false production and impression for others, then to dishonesty, deceitfulness, slyness, craftiness, mischievousness, and finally, diabolicalness. This is the highest degree of evilness, for diabolicalness includes mischievousness, craftiness, slyness, deceitfulness, and dishonesty, meaning that diabolicalness includes cheating, camouflaging, and disguise. For that reason, a diabolical person is clever and skilled, a deceitful man who cheats, and a liar who finds means to cover truths. We can easily identify that whoever that speaks with evasive words, trying to conceal something, is a liar. Cheating and using tricks are the characteristics of a dishonest person. The one who is making crafty and systemic plot is a mischievous person. A person who plans to use his wit and ingenuity to lead others to rely on is a diabolical one. Conversely, the common characteristic of a great man and a holy man is to admit the truth. The one who accepts the truth is straightforward, then he becomes the dominator of himself. Thus he can correct and improve himself. The straightforwardness is the origin of solemnity and dignity. In other words, the solemnity shows plainly the straightforwardness in which the truth is displayed. The behavior of the two ranks of persons, great man and holy man, is very solemn and dignified. Following and taking side with others, the little man fawns upon others' ideas, but often he reverses and changes side completely. This conduct inflicts griefs and sorrows upon others. Abasing oneself and praising insincerely, the little man is a dishonest flatterer who will betray. The betrayals cause great harm and damage for other people. The great man keeps his mind steadfast. He does not obey the unreasonable and absurd ideas and in no way changes side. Being courageous and frank, he dares to protest and oppose against mistakes, faults, and guilt. Ultimately, straightforwardness brings about pleasure and delight and performs good deeds for others. In order to know better about these ranks of people, we perceive easily that people's body is alike, but the heart and the mind differ completely from each other. Therefore, there are little men, great men, wise men, and holy men. Except for supermen who abandon the ordinary life, all of the above-mentioned ranks join the society. Little men can be wicked men, evil men, cruel men, or fierce, brutal men. Great men can be wise, intellectual men, or kind, compassionate men. Meek and gentle men can be gentle, compassionate, intellectual, and clear-sighted. Holy men, having saintliness, holiness. Meekness and gentleness are opposed to cruelty, wickedness, and evilness. Cruelty causes fear, anxiety, disquietude, worry, and trouble for others. On the contrary, meekness and gentleness make others more peaceful, cheerful, and glad. Wickedness and evilness affect others with suffering and distress. Meekness and gentleness cause an effect of merriment. A fierce man expresses and utters words in loud voice and aggressive manner. He uses the aggressive attitude and loud voice to oppress or harass others. A wicked and evil man is undemonstrative, deeply restrained in expression. Being trickily harmful, he speaks very little, but makes crafty plot to trap others. The fierce man speaks much more than the wicked and evil one. The cruel person roars, shouts, and yells without explaining. If he ever speaks, he does not utter words, but roars his thoughts. The meek and gentle man does not speak too much, but just enough of what necessary. His voice is soft-spoken, moderate, gentle, and amiable. His thoughts are explained explicitly and genuinely. Whatever that is formed in his mind will be uttered out precisely, or the words denote exactly the state of his heart and mind. He performs voluntarily good deeds for others without promise. Conversely, if the words are not identical with the state of the heart and the mind, but with promise and concealment, that is a trick or scheme of a deceptive or fraudulent man. Therefore, meek and gentle man is genuine and honest. He loves others and sets their mind at rest. He comforts them, soothes their griefs, and creates joys for them. The little man, wicked, evil, cruel, fierce man, lives with his feelings characteristics in the narrow world of his heart and mind, and the activities which break out by feelings are not marked with intellectual depth. He cannot discern the logical cause in social relationship, connection, and association. Conducting his feelings in comportment, he cannot distinguish the right and the wrong, the good and the bad, the just and the unjust in the state of affairs. Often he makes false, wrong, and imperfect thoughts or immoral deeds. Unable to comprehend the cause of facts and subjects, he does not belong to the rank of intellectuals. Footnote: Intellectuals, having superior intelligence, being conscious of the cause of subjects and facts. Therefore, an intellectual behaves accordingly to the logical cause. End of footnote. Generally, the little man conducts his life with feelings in confusion of loud voice and movement. In brief, the little man lives with confused feelings in his relationship. In lacking of intellectual ability, having no ability to think abstractly and deeply about the cause of subjects and things, even though he may get much knowledge and great range of learning. Not conforming to a standard of right and wrong behaviors, just and unjust state of affairs, but he executes in accordance with his ambitions or strongly desired goals. If he cannot accomplish something attempted, he is greatly dissatisfied, and his heart holds resentment, hatred, rancor, and hostility. Only after experiencing misery or extreme discomfort can he learn and understand. Being ignorant, he is conservative, obstinate, stubborn, and hard to grant pardon. Despite being educated, the little man is more conservative, tenacious, and pretentious, self-conceited, and haughty. Moreover, he tends to perform deceitful deeds and considers those immoral results as his glorious deeds. Acting only with feelings, this way of living is easy to be discouraged and tired with dullness. Without virtues, the little man cannot gain a profession or an occupation requiring specialized knowledge and academic training because he has no patience or constancy. Enjoying the bodily feelings, living with the vulgar heart and the flesh body, he is easy to be seduced and led astray. With his mind, the great man can discern the root cause of subjects and facts, and he conducts his life in accordance with the logical cause. Much or less educated, he has a superior intelligence and is able to think and judge, develop mentally and morally in accordance with the cause and the reason. Enjoying to perform good, right, and just deeds by following moralistic principles, although he may not be a great implementer of traditional customs and habits. Discerning thoroughly the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, the just and the unjust state of affairs, he therefore is not a conservative or obstinate person. Instead, he is humble and attentive to others' ideas. Behaving with the logical course of conscience, he opposes to perverse and vicious way. He prefers to execute publicly and performs righteously what is just and moral, always keeping in mind the acts of kindness of others. He returns the favor and realizes good deeds. Being tolerant and lenient, he does not hold resentment or rancor. Through learning, the great man knows and understands the subjects and facts that occur in the society by reasoning. He behaves and expresses with the cause and the reason only. Therefore, his reasons are expressed without noisy discussion. The wise man lives with the genuine truth, living with virtues of the genuine heart and the super heart. He prefers the good things created by the heart and the mind, and performs good deeds for others through his learning, knowledge, and experience in his own genuine heart and super heart. Belonging to the educated rank, he learns virtues in his own heart and mind, and in his conscience from the inner experience. He has no purpose to be rich with material resources, instead directs his efforts to moral and intellectual values, books, literary works, arts, technology, which contain prosperous and distinctive qualities of virtues. Treating others with love and virtues, explaining all subjects and facts by advice, counseling, and recommendations. Living with the heart and the mind, the genuine heart, super heart, genuine mind, and supermind, being fond of learning in his own heart and mind, thus he is not bewitched by sensual pleasures. Always fostering virtues, his life's activities animate completely inward without being affected by external sceneries. The holy man lives with Tao's course and harmonizes his life with his way of living, and his way of living with the cosmic activities, i.e., conducting his way of living into the divine mechanism, the divine character, and the divine cause. Living the spiritual life, the cosmic life within man's life, learning endlessly, learning Tao's characters in his own character, i.e., learning the miracles of the divine character in human character, behaving with others with the love without earthly origin, i.e., the love originating from the character that contains no image of the world. Without feelings and even without cause in this behavior, the creation engendered by this love transmutes both descendantly and ascendantly, thus the creation persists. The miracle of love without earthly origin surpasses the faculty of reasoning by average people. It is appropriate to all sceneries and circumstances and suitable to any time and space. The view by the holy man remains only of the life without being aware of the presence of his own body, heart, and mind. He no longer takes interest in his flesh body. Therefore, he is ready to sacrifice for others and feels his life forming a whole with the cosmos. From the love without earthly origin, he sees a person as a soul. Loving other people is to love their souls through their flesh body. The holy man can see the spiritual life of a person. Because of love, there is nothing to deal with or to be concerned with. The holy man improves and ameliorates his soul and saves and guards others from degradation and debasement.